He's saying that there's nobody actually monitoring what these bankers are doing, what these farmers are doing, to know what they can do and what they cannot do. Has there been any attempts by maybe the private sector, or private individuals, or companies, for instance, to create a marketplace where you can have professionals who can come in, as professionals like the professor here, who is an agricultural economist, who can come in and sit down with these farmers and get to understand what their challenges are, so that you can put their books in place for them, and also make access to funds, and every other thing that they need relatively easy.
Let me in one word, the institution required for this is a one-stop shop agricultural center, extension officers. These are the two component units that will be able to give you farmers authentications, place of crop development, and then amount required. If you, like just I'm saying to you, you can't count 4 if you haven't counted 1, 2, 3. Now, since the death of agricultural development centers, or ADBs here, that's what I'm doing, and I'm doing quite well in it, in providing support services for. We also link farmers to financial institutions. The farmers need you to have given a cash flow. You need to have cash flow analysis. At what point do the eggs start dropping? Is that 18 weeks? Is that 14 weeks?
Well,
what do you require?
Remember that we have a large population of farmers. So how many of these one-stop centers do we have coming? But then, Professor, you were going to make a point.
Yes, I was going to say that that challenge should really be placed before the extension staff. But now, the ADPs, they are perhaps at limbo. They are perhaps sleeping because sufficient funds are not being given to them. And that's a major weakness. If the various extension staff that are in charge of cells in the various blocks and the various zones are empowered to have groups of farmers, community farmers, this is what they want to produce. That extension staff knows the various cost implications and the production logic of the various commodities. And they can then link up with the Bank of Agriculture in terms of giving loans at appropriate time and at appropriate lending rate to the farmers. Okay, and they know when they will market these various commodities.
Well, let's quickly look at research and development. Right. In all of this, we haven't really spoken about how well we've done in terms of research and the rest of it. Has it really been has it really been done as well as it should be?
All the research works done by my uncle here, by these universities, all in the shelves. You cannot get to me, just like the bankers have told you, we don't know how to keep books. First of all, me that is on the ground, if you have researched and there is no bridge between the station officers and the farmer, how will you get the research work across to me? Right. Now, over time, just as I speak with you today, we have 22,000 metric tons of oranges that do not find their way to the market in Benue State. Now, the rest value chains in oranges has been researched. Are you saying that our research institutions do not know that the back peel of orange is used in making mosquito coils? Is that the back peel of orange is not being used in making the water treatment? But the entire whole thing comes to the point. How do I know what has been researched? The station officers is not there. Local governments that all their funds have been sieved away by the state governors do not the ones that looks after the station officers. Now, the bridge for agricultural development is not removed, it's burnt.
Okay, so Professor, in your own opinion, yes, why is it that when we have research and development done for agriculture especially, why doesn't it get to these people?
In the first place, we need to further enhance research and development, even universities and research institutes. And that means greater funding.
But then the ones that have already been done.
Yes, there should be a proper linkage between research, extension, and farmers. And it's when you develop the extension people that they will have the capacity to now translate whatever the research findings are to the farmers. And that means that, if some research work has been done, how does it get to the extension agents? And how do extension agents now move to the rural areas? Those salient points are required to be funded. And I'm happy that the Honorable Minister mentioned that when he was addressing the National Economic Group, that research and development needs to be properly funded. The development side is the issue of translating whatever the findings are to the extension agents and extension agents to the farmers. But note that even if the research findings are profitable, the farmers need to be properly funded, because if you don't have the funds, they won't be able to go into using the various findings.
Shadrach,
and that's the point that
Shadrach is trying to make, yes. So, Shadrach, to buttress what Professor Okuneye has said.
To buttress, our point is that those who take decisions for us and the agricultural sectors must at least have an idea of what the farmers go through. Here, financial institutions to farmers and providing even on a single individual, that hasn't ended up in that way. But there has to be an adequate technology-driven program to support farming, because we are still doing the 60s and the 70s approach of agriculture, and that is discouraging, and that doesn't make people see as people feel agriculture is seen as an occupation for those who have failed in urban pursuit to retire home to do it with wickedness.
Well, thank you so much, Shadrach, for this last one. Thank you so much, Professor Bola Okuneye, for coming on the program today. It's been very interesting having both of you here. But I know that this conversation hasn't ended. Sure. I'm still going to have both of you on the program soon to talk more about agriculture. But that's the program for today. Thank you so much for watching. I've been speaking with Professor Bola Okuneye. He's an agricultural economist from FUNAB, and Shadrach Madlion, he's the Managing Director of Admiral Environmental Care. He's also a farmer. And we've been talking about how we can transform Nigeria through agriculture.